What number is this?
I don't know.
Wait a second. Hold on. We're still recording, but I need to know what number podcast this is.
Bloopers. What's up, everyone? This is Alyssa. I'm with Jeremy. I'm actually on the podcast for once. And right now we are on standby because Jeremy is figuring out what number podcast this is. Because I don't remember anymore.
Hello and welcome to the 125th episode of Downtime Podcast with Jeremy and Alyssa. Happy New Year, Lisa.
Happy New Year. I'm glad to be here and actually have time to do this.
Yeah, this has been a long time coming. We have been so busy in our personal lives that it's been really hard to meet up.
Not to mention, worked crazy too.
Yeah, I had a crazy start to the new year with my job. Had moved to a new office, been super busy, just adjusting and also catching up with projects. So
yeah,
it's been crazy.
And I just got my project for the year, so I've just been prepping for that. And then at the end of 2019, I was finishing out those projects just so that they don't roll over. And man, it's just been very much an ordeal being an adult. I hate it.
Yeah, adulting is hard.
Adulting's very hard. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Here we are in 2020. We're going to turn 28 in a month.
Yep.
It's going to be an even year.
Can't believe that.
The Olympics are here.
Yep.
What else is here in 2020?
It's a new decade.
It's a new decade, yes.
Yep.
And speaking of a new decade, we just passed the decade of the tens, and we have a very exciting podcast for you. Normally what we do is we just talk about the year of 2019 and what our favorite games would have been this year, but we decided to do something a little different. And we summarized our favorite games of the decade. So each year, 2010 to 2019, we have for you our favorite games of each year. Not together. Jeremy and I have two separate lists.
Yeah, we don't know what each other wrote. So.
As always, as is tradition.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm drinking boba if anyone can hear that. So
I can definitely hear it.
Yep. So
yeah, you gotta stay thirsty. I don't know.
Hydrated.
I was gonna say hydrated, but boba dehydrates you. All right, let's kick it off with 2010.
2010. I realized a lot of good games came out in 2010.
Yeah, we graduated high school.
That is the year we graduated. Oh God.
10 years ago.
Actually, okay, I'm sorry. We're taking a pause. You know it's our 10-year anniversary. Are you going to your 10-year anniversary?
I don't know if it's been set up yet by our former president. I have no idea, and I don't know if I actually want to go. I don't really care about all my other high school classmates since the people that I hung out with in high school, we all still keep in touch. So every time I see them is like a reunion anyways.
For sure. I might go to mine because since my graduating class was very small, I liked everyone in the class. Like it was a very small, it was like 200 people. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, it was really chill. So I plan on going to that.
Nice. Very cool.
Yes. Sidebar, but okay, back to games.
What a year, right?
What a year.
What a year for games.
All right. So my game of the year of 2010. So it was going to be Heavy Rain.
Okay.
And Heavy Rain for sure is in my top 2 favorite games of 2010. It's actually one of my favorite games of life. And I had it listed as number 1. And then when I was Googling 2010 games, I completely forgot that Red Dead Redemption came out in 2010.
Oh, okay.
So therefore, Red Dead Redemption is my number 1 game of 2010.
Nice.
Yes.
I want to preface this also by saying that we decided that this wouldn't be based on just release date, but also no matter what year we bought the game in. So if we bought the game in 2009 and played it in 2010, it still counted as our game of the year for the year that we played it. Mm-hmm. So despite release dates, some of these games that I picked myself did not come out in 2010, and some of them came out earlier. So despite that, I still picked some of these games, and you'll see when I choose it. But my game of the year, this was a really hard year for me because it's the first year I came out, or the first year I turned 18, and I got a Steam account for the first time, and I bought a bunch of games because I was legally an adult in the United States, and I could buy M-rated games, and so yeah, exactly. So on Steam, I'd be like, all right, now I can fill in that I'm 18 years old and let me go past the age gate thing, even though I lied every time. But, so
they didn't care.
It doesn't matter.
They don't care.
I could be born in 1901. So my game of the year for 2010 is Team Fortress 2.
Oh, nice.
It's a multiplayer online shooter, and I picked it because I spent a lot of time in that game, hundreds of hours playing that game, especially with my brother. We would play TF2 a lot, modded servers, just the base game, doing random stuff. That's like one of the years that like custom hats and like custom weapons started being produced for the game from the community. And it's a game that still to this day holds really strong numbers on Steam. So that's why I chose it.
For sure.
I want to talk about honorable mentions because there were a lot of games I chose this year that I played.
Yeah.
And you can too. But my honorable mentions in order after TF2 were Killing Floor, Gary's Mod, Dave Defeat Source, and Mount and Blade Warband.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you've talked about Mount and Blade Warband plenty of times on the podcast as well.
Yep.
My honorable mention is Heavy Rain. I love that game a lot. I really like the revelation of who the origami killer is. It's one of my favorite stories of a video game for sure.
Very cinematic.
But Red Dead Redemption is also the original one is very cinematic.
Yeah.
I think it's a very well-rounded game. It's the whole package in telling the story of an outlaw. It's very easy to play and I think this game is way easier than Red Dead Redemption 2, even though I like Red Dead. But this game was better to digest, and I always think about this moment. But the moment when James Marsden is coming from the United States and he's on his horse and he's going to Mexico is just a very cinematic scene. Anyone who's played this game knows what I'm talking about because you're on your horse. There's a song playing in it's the only time there's not just instrumentals playing in the background. This is like one of the only songs that has lyrics.
Right.
I actually wrote it down. It's called Far Far Away by Jose Gonzalez.
Okay.
And you're riding into the sunset or sunrise as you arrive in Mexico into the next chapter. So it was just really epic.
Sunrise makes sense since it's like a new dawn,
Oh, totally. So that one, Red Dead 1, wins it out for me. And my dishonorable mention is Final Fantasy 13. Let's go.
You have dishonorable mentions. Oh my goodness.
No, it's not that many, but
okay.
But God, I can't believe that game is so freaking confusing.
I had a classmate senior year. You know how people skip school to play a game, right? I had a classmate, he loved Final Fantasy. Well, he still does. He loves Final Fantasy.
I love Final Fantasy
too.
Yeah,
he's like a super fan like you. And then he's like, he skipped that day to play Final Fantasy, but he came back halfway through the day and he's like, I don't like that game. I was like, you came back? What the hell, dude?
Final Fantasy, as everyone knows, super fantastical stories about magic, mages, you name it. But this was the hardest story to understand of all Final Fantasies, for sure.
Yeah.
This one was just straight up... It's straight up trash. Okay, that's it.
Okay, that's fair. Let's move on.
Mic drop.
Let's move on to the next year, 2011.
2011, okay.
My first and a half year of college. Let's
go.
Okay, so I chose this year Sonic Generations as my game of the year because I loved Sonic the Hedgehog from Sonic from Sonic 1 on the Genesis until like Sonic Heroes, and then after that it kind of fell off for me. And then Generations came out and I was like, this is a love letter to the Sonic games and I just love it.
For sure.
Yeah, so. Very
nice. Yeah, this was really hard. I didn't realize how many games I played in 2011.
Same.
Because you think that, I probably didn't play that much because I got into college and you're just trying to figure out life and how to study in college and just get good grades and, not fail your classes.
Totally.
But I think it's during the summer I made up for all the games I missed out on.
That honestly, yeah.
And so that's why I played all of these games. Like, for example, I didn't know that Uncharted 3 came out in 2011 because Uncharted 4 comes out in 2016.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, was there really a 5-year gap between those two games? Because I think all the other gaps have only been 2.
Yeah.
But Uncharted 4 was the PlayStation 4, was a PlayStation 4 game as well.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And all Uncharted's had come out on PlayStation 3.
Correct.
So
still exclusive to Sony.
That's not my number one though. I did like that game. My number one is Terraria.
Oh, nice. Good choice.
Good choice. I love sandbox games. I love just building a house, digging in caves, and finding emeralds and amethysts to make staffs and fun things and stained glass.
Yep.
I just love sandbox games. That's all there is to it.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
My honorable mentions are...
sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
And I like how Terraria is like constantly being updated.
Even to this day.
Yes.
It's a whole nother game.
It's a whole nother game.
So my honorable mentions are Left 4 Dead 2. I've sunk so many hours in that game. The modded maps, it just that game is, to this day, that game is still one of my favorites of all time. I'll go back and play it every so often. Portal 2, obvious reasons.
Oh yeah.
Far Cry 2, GTA 4, Terraria, yes, is on the list.
Terraria.
And Mount and Blade with Fire and Sword.
Nice. There was a game that came out in 2011. I think it was The Witcher, like The Witcher 2 or something like that.
That sounds about right.
And it made me realize, oh yeah, I still have never played a Witcher game, and I've seen the whole entire TV show, yet I haven't played it yet.
Nothing wrong with that.
So
I mean, you could also read the books, and no one's gonna fault you for not reading them. So, yeah.
All right, for 2012, I have a very clear-cut winner. My clear-cut winner is The Sims 3 Seasons. It is, I will argue with anyone that The Sims 3 is the best Sims game of all time, and Sims 3 Seasons, I will argue, is the best expansion that they've ever done.
Nice.
You can etch it in stone, you can write it on a contract. Like, this is official. No, like, I don't care what anyone else says.
You heard it here first.
This game just gives you the best variety of activities to do. You incorporate all the seasons, so fall, winter, spring, summer, and just winter alone makes up one of the best games of 2012.
Nice.
So that Very is nice. My winner of the year. No dishonorable mentions this time around.
No honorable mentions?
No honorable mentions this time. Yep. I don't think I played that many games in 2012.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's fair. My list is really short for 2012 as well. My number one for 2012 is Sleeping Dogs, the open world game where it's in Hong Kong. I played a lot of... when I first saw the trailer for it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like Asian GTA. And I picked it up, like, I pre-ordered it, basically. And I bought it twice. I have it on PC, and I have the, like, remastered edition on PS4.
I've been meaning to play that. A lot of people who play that game really like that game.
Yes, I can vouch for that. I learned so many bad words in Cantonese from that game.
Hey, isn't it Hong Kong, then?
It's all set in Hong Kong.
Okay,
it's like the developers did a really good job of capturing the essence, the feel, like the visual look of Hong Kong, because like
for sure
a lot of the game perspective, of course, is behind the main character Wei Shen. Yeah. But if you like look up and around, like there's so many little details, like, from the windows to the signs on everything, and the radio itself, and just the vehicles. Like it's beautiful. It's a wonderful game. It's the first like open world driving / action game that you have to go to the right hand side, because Hong Kong drives on the right hand side of the car.
Yeah.
And you know how the from the US, I mean, and how like we drive on the right side, and then in Hong Kong they drive on the left side with the right hand side steering wheel. So sometimes I would get into a car, but I would accidentally go on the left side, and I'm like, I have to take more time to go to the right side because he has to scooch over.
You just gotta get used to it.
I know.
That's a struggle though, because you're driving on the driving wheel is on the left side in a car.
That's
in the
right.
United States,
Yep. And then when I played GTA 4, I would go to the right side of the car, and I'm like, stop doing that. Actually, I need to finish this first. But yeah, and then my honorable mention for 2012 is BioShock.
For sure.
Yeah.
The very first one, or?
Yeah, the very first one.
Okay.
I didn't pick it as number one because Sleeping Dogs had a bigger resonance with me.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
definitely. All right, 2013 was your game of the year.
2013, my game of the year, BioShock Infinite.
Hey.
So although the first
So
one,
were you prepping for the final BioShock?
I would say yes and no. Yes, I did it inadvertently because I didn't know it was going to come out the next year until late in 2012. And then I was like, oh shit, BioShock Infinite's coming out. So I picked up BioShock Infinite, and literally the day I picked it up, I could not put it down. I could not stop playing.
That's how you know it's a good game always.
Yep. So I spent 2 days. I spent 2 whole days, and I beat it in 2 days.
Nice.
I was like, I need to finish this game, and it was so good. I remember just staying up all day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I played that game, and I didn't finish it. And I was like, damn it, I was so disappointed that I didn't finish it that I went to sleep, and I woke up early again just to finish it. Wonderful game. And then my honorable mentions are GTA 5 and Tomb Raider.
For sure.
Yeah.
This year, so 2013 and 2017 were like my most difficult years figuring out what my game of the year was. This year it was between The Last of Us and GTA 5. Two huge standouts for me, and I just like both of them in all these different ways. You can always trust in a Naughty Dog game, and then was the first Grand Theft Auto for the PlayStation 4, sorry, not for PlayStation 4, but this is the first Grand Theft Auto in a while.
Yeah.
That they incorporated. You could play with 3 different characters. Like, it was just like so many things. Like, there were so many things to do in both of those games, and for different things. And
yeah, totally.
I really liked both of them, but my game of the year is Grand Theft Auto 5.
Good choice.
Yeah,
Good
and
choice.
the reason, and I love The Last of Us, but the reason why GTA edges out over that is the radio soundtrack.
Oh, yes.
And it starts by saying that my favorite GTA of all time is San Andreas. That one.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, I love that one. And one of the things that I love about that is just the soundtrack. And I think Rockstar does a great job in all of its games curating the perfect soundtrack to match the year.
Every time.
And not only in GTA are you playing in Los Santos based off my favorite game, my favorite Grand Theft Auto game, but just the soundtrack just makes every mission better. Like Radio Los Santos, it has some of my favorite songs of all time on there. Like Kendrick Lamar's ADHD is on it.
Yep.
The Game is on it, Ali Bomaye. And then my favorite one is my favorite song from the soundtrack is Smokin' and Riding.
Yeah. Smokin' and Riding.
I know, it's like my favorite song by, I think, BJ the Chicago Kid and Freddie Gibbs. That song, like Radio Los Santos just gave me so many feels. Yeah. And that is why Grand Theft Auto wins over The Last of Us.
My favorite song from that station is I Woke Up in a New Bugatti. I just like, I love like you just imagining someone just waking up and they're like, oh, I'm in a Bugatti? I guess this is mine. You just drive away. Because I love how ridiculous the situation is for that song. And it's like, it's such a rapper sounding song, but the whole overall premise of it is just like, oh, okay. In my head, at least, I know what this song is actually about, but in my mind, every time I heard the chorus, I was like, what if I woke up in a new Bugatti? What would I do? Did I steal it? I don't know. But GTA 5 is a solid choice. I love that game's awesome.
You have to add, wait, it's not Rick Ross. It's not Rick Ross who does Bugatti. Who does Bugatti?
I don't know. I don't remember.
It's okay.
I actually bought GTA 5 twice. Once because I bought it with my PS4. It actually came as the disc included with the console.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it was like a bundle. And I bought it a second time a year later when it came out on PC.
Nice.
One, because I wanted to play in first person mode on the PC, and 2, because I wanted the player radio station, because like there's certain GTA games up until a certain point, I think it was from like either 3 until now, you can there's a folder you can put it on and you put your own music on there, and then it'll play on the radio in the game at like just mixed, like shuffled. I mean, and so I would throw my own stuff in there. So it'd be weird. Like you see Franklin driving down the street blasting J-pop. And I'm
my God, yes.
This is awesome. Like that's one of the biggest reasons why I got it. And of course the mods. I've never modded the game, but I've always found the idea interesting.
Yeah, I've only played it on PlayStation, so I've obviously never modded it.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Oh, also Trevor.
Great, yeah.
Yep, that's all you gotta say, Trevor.
Yep. All right, 2014. Your game of the year was...
All right, so 2014 and 15 are gonna be interesting because I did not play that many games that year.
Okay.
And this is because these were the 2 years I was finishing up college.
For sure.
Just trying to get my life together and graduate.
Yeah.
But my 2014 game of the year is The Stick of Truth. It is
nice.
Yep, it is the best South Park game. It's crazy because it's also the first game that Matt Stone and Trey Parker have ever made. They're just so talented at creating all of these different
things.
They have a TV show, they have movies, they have a video game, and they have a musical. Like, And this game is just hilarious. It's fun. It's a really good RPG. And it references some of the best episodes of South Park of all time too. So this is the funny thing about this game. So this references not a direct reference, but it's based off of the trilogy, the episode trilogy of South Park, where people are buying the PlayStation 4 for Black Friday.
Oh yeah, the Black Friday bundle.
Also known as Black Friday Bundaroo.
The Black Friday Bundaroo.
And that was a great season of South Park, and so they just chose a really good season to reference things off of.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. I remember that being like a love letter to the series.
Yes.
While also being its own standalone thing.
Oh yeah.
Which is awesome, because like you want that from a game that's based off of an established show.
Exactly.
Not just some cheap knockoff.
Yep. I prefer this one over the Fractured Butthole, which is based on superheroes and the Coon episode trilogy. So this is the Stick of Truth is by far the better one.
Gotcha. For my year, for my game in the year 2014, I chose Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I saw that came out that year when I was looking back at what came out in 14. I was like, what came out these years?
Yeah, no, fantastic. Another game that I spent 2 or 3 days on, just straight trying to complete that game after class in college. I would, just go home, play the game, and try to beat it. For 3 days, I beat it in 3 days. It's basically, people were craving for Half-Life after Half-Life 2, and they never got it. With the recent announcement and eventual release of Half-Life Alyx, there's been kind of this renewed interest in single player shooters, and I think Wolfenstein: The New Order was definitely in the midst of that. It was like kind of fulfilling that craving, because I definitely was someone that really wanted to have that cinematic single player experience in a shooter, because I to this day still love shooters. So Wolfenstein: The New Order was definitely one that I really appreciated, and I think that it brought I brought cinematic single player perspective to a world that really needed it.
Yeah.
And it did it really well, because like there's a lot of single player shooters out there, especially that came out before then and during that time, but not all of them were like Half-Life. And I think this is the closest to Half-Life that I got. My honorable mentions are Alien Isolation, Far Cry 4, Titanfall, and Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Yeah, 2015.
Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Sorry, for some reason.
It's okay.
I was thinking of Morrowood. And
yeah.
Sorry, I confused a lot of things. Go on.
It's okay. I did play that game, but it was not in this decade. It was
sure.
before that.
For sure.
It was in the 07, 08, 09 era. Okay. Do you have any honorable mentions before we move on to 2015?
No, I didn't play that many games.
Oh, right. You mentioned that. Okay, sorry. So 2015. What about you?
All right. So 2015. God, we're going back to I didn't play. This was especially the year that this was my graduation year.
Oh, for sure.
So I was like, I really didn't play that much. And for example, The Last Witcher, The Witcher 3 came out that year, but I didn't play that. I played Rocket League, but Rocket League is just Rocket. It's just
yeah, it's some people's game of the year, but I understand why it wouldn't be yours.
Yeah, it's just it's a fun party game, but
totally,
that's about it. This year, though, I want to, because when I was Googling what came out in 2015, I want to acknowledge 2 games that I really, really liked that came out this year.
Okay.
That I did not play that year, which were Ori and the Blind Forest and Yakuza 5, which are two amazing games, but I didn't play it this year, so,
Sure.
But God, are they amazing. Those are amazing games just in general.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
What I would say for this is I'd say Mortal Kombat 10 is my game of the year. I always love a good fighting game. Mortal Kombat 10 is also my favorite Mortal Kombat game.
Nice.
And yeah, it was just a good time. And one of the new characters I really like, Takeda. He's just a new person, but he became my new default aside from Katana.
Nice.
And yeah, I'd say it is Mortal Kombat 10.
Okay. That sounds like a good choice.
Yeah.
I know you like fighting games, so it's
I do like
right
fighting
up your alley.
games. Yep.
My game of the year in 2015 was Lego Jurassic World.
Nice.
Because I love the Lego games, and when the first one for Star Wars came out, I really wanted a Jurassic one to come out, and I would have to wait. When did that for 2006? So I had to wait 9 years before it would come out. And I was older then, but I could afford it and buy it on my own.
Hey.
And it was a combination of Jurassic Park to Jurassic World. And yeah, Jordan and I played that front to back. It was great. We finished that game. My honorable mentions for that year are Fallout 4 and Star Wars Battlefront.
Battlefront, I gotta admit, was a good game.
Yeah?
I've only played it at other people's houses, but I really liked that. It was fun.
Yeah, visually it's beautiful. It looks just like the movies.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing half the time.
That's fine.
There was always a person who was Darth Vader that killed everyone immediately, and I was just like, but I'm still having a good time. I think so.
Yeah. Anytime I played the game, I was like, okay, there's always going to be someone better than me. And they would just fly around on their jetpacks.
Yeah. No, that's exactly. Whoever was Luke and Darth Vader just won everything.
Yeah, and I'm like, but then I would still play the game.
Oh, yeah. See, I felt like it was more fun in Battlefront, but then in Battlefront 2, the overpoweredness was not as fun for some reason in 2.
Yeah.
The OP-ness, I was like, okay, I'm over it now.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
All
right.
2016.
Yep. What is your game of the year?
Mine was Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
Hey!
And I think yours is the same. And my reason is because I speed ran. Well, not really speed ran, but
Did you really speed run it?
No, I played the other 3 games on the collection, the Nathan Drake.
Oh yeah, because the collection actually came out the year before.
Yeah, so I played all of those, and the reason that they're not listed there is because I consider all of them one game from when I played it, because it was basically one disc with all 3 games on it, and some of them came out before this decade, so I didn't really want, or one of them came out, it was like 2008, right, with the first one, so I didn't really count it as part of something, my game of the year list, but I speed ran the other 3 games. I still enjoyed the story. I didn't completely speed run it, but when this game came out, I had to get it. I played it cinematically. It's beautiful. Everything looks so realistic.
Oh yeah.
The story is great. It's a lot less phantasmical compared to the other ones, but it still felt like a fantasy action adventure Indiana Jones type of deal.
More towards the Indiana Jones direction for sure.
Absolutely.
And a lot of family dynamics too.
Oh, 100%. Oh yeah.
Through the entire way.
Oh, it was awesome. I loved it.
Yes.
I loved it so much.
And I like how it, because this is all, by the way, this is also my game of the year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I like how it tied everything up. I thought this was a very great ending to the franchise because I loved this franchise a lot.
Yeah.
I felt very satisfied playing it. So the PlayStation 4, I bought in 2016. It was my first adult purchase after having this is my first big girl purchase of something to myself that was not paying for a loan. So
yeah.
So I got this, and my PlayStation, I've said it before, but if you're new to this podcast, my PlayStation is actually a Uncharted 4 Collector's Edition PlayStation. And it just goes to show that how much I really like Uncharted, and this game deservingly is my game of the year for 2016.
Nice.
I want to acknowledge Stardew Valley because that game is amazing as fuck. It came out in 2016. I didn't start playing it until 2019. But God, this game's amazing. And I'm really close to getting that last melon that I need to not finish Stardew Valley, but to 100% the town hall.
Nice.
So one melon.
Just one melon's all you need.
One melon's all I need.
My honorable mentions are Killing Floor 2, Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 was overshadowed by Battlefield 1. Damn EA. Why? It came out like 2 days after.
Leave it to EA.
They did them dirty. Titanfall 2 is an amazing game, and there's still a small community that plays it. And shout out to you guys because that game's awesome.
Oh,
and
I see so many people on Reddit still playing Titanfall.
Oh yeah. The servers still have people on them, so that's great. Mafia 3 is the final one for my mention list in 2016, and I've gushed about Mafia 3 and how awesome it is before.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, 2017. I think I know what your game of the year is, but
I'm pretty sure we both have the same game of the year. But thinking about it and how hard it was to choose my game of the year was just as difficult as it was in 2017.
Really?
Yeah. Because
Go on.
So, okay, I just want to say that of this decade, 2017 by far is my favorite year of games. Of this decade.
Okay.
Of games that were released, of like everything. I thought that everything was on point this year that came out. I had such a great time gaming. This is like the most gaming I've done, I think, of the whole decade as well.
Yeah, I think 2017 has kind of kicked off more games for me because, like you, in my college years, I found it kind of hard to play a lot of games.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and then as an adult, you come back from work, you have money, you can buy games, you can play, you can spend your time as much as you want and what you want to do with it.
Exactly.
So yeah, that year was the year that I also kind of found a renewed interest in gaming.
Oh yeah. And I was a low enough position in my job that I could actually come home on time and play games. You know what I mean?
I remember.
Like I was about to say I could actually go home, be home by 8 o'clock and, do things with my life.
Yeah. So fun side fact that is probably already known for older listeners of the podcast, but that's the year that Lisa started at the company that I worked at. So we were coworkers. That's how we met. And that is how this podcast was born.
I know.
In a small conference room and an empty table.
Yes, exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. So,
good times.
Yep.
Okay. So, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So my top 2 games of the year. No. I'm explaining the process.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we started the podcast in 2017. So if you've been an old listener and you know all the stuff, you would know that my 2 favorite games of 2017 are Persona 5 and Yakuza 0.
Yes.
And those 2 games gave me extra feels of playing it. Persona 5 is just an absolutely amazing game, and it was worth the wait after I got into Persona 4 Golden when I was in college, actually. Fuck, I forgot about Persona 4 Golden. Just a side note, I played Persona 4 Golden in college, and it was wonderful. That's why I didn't have a lot of games in 14 and 15. So, all right, that solves that issue. That solves that issue. Okay. Persona 5 was a great game. I loved all the characters. I just enjoy the concept. I love JRPGs, as you know it. Plot twist insane. And then there's Yakuza 0, which was just the first time I ever played that franchise, and it was absolutely wonderful experience of just like, hey, I am a thug who is singing karaoke for 30 minutes. And it was just it was just so many different things and so many feels. And it was between these 2 games. These new 2 games are on like my top 10 of like all time. Like these 2 games to me are like near perfect. But okay. Yakuza 0 wins over Persona 5. And the reason why it wins over Persona 5 is I will always come back to this. I think it was the impact of the 2 final boss battles. Like, it was like both games are the whole package, and I love the build up for both of them, but the build up for Yakuza 0 when Majima fights Laogai, and then when Kiryu fights Shibusawa, all of those cutscenes, all of those moments, and just putting all of the different styles that you learned just culminated everything about that game. And the presentation was beautiful, especially everything about Kiryu's final boss battle. Like, you're on a cruise ship when you're doing this. The music is insane. The soundtrack is insane. And the impact of the finale and everything that follows is exactly why Yakuza 0 beats Persona 5. But both are great games. But Yakuza 0 for sure is my winner.
Oh, I'm really happy to hear that.
Yes.
Because that is also my number 1 for that year for obvious reasons.
Hey.
I remember I kept edging you on. I was like, Alyssa, you need to play this game.
I know.
And it was the first game in a long time since BioShock Infinite, or sorry, I would say not BioShock, Wolfenstein, where I was just hooked on a game. Like, I could not stop thinking about it. And I remember before I bought the game, I saw something. It was like a video, or it was like an ad somewhere, and it was like, "Oh, Yakuza 0." And I was like, "What's that?" I was like, "I kind of want to get into this franchise because I've always heard about it. I never really saw anything else more about it because, of course, you know, whoever did a poor marketing job in the U.S. when those games came out in the early 2000s.
I wouldn't even necessarily blame completely the poor marketing job. It just wasn't targeted towards the United States in general,
right? Because they tried to westernize it a little bit with the English voice acting, but it didn't really work out.
Yeah.
So Yakuza 0 was like coming out, and then I bought it on Amazon, and then I was playing it, and I was like, oh my god. And then, you know, we met, and I was like, you need to play this game so badly. And then you finally got it, and then yeah, all of your points you made earlier, I agree with 100%. I do think it's a game for everyone because like there's something for everyone there. Like, you love like the music stuff, like the what is it, like the, you know, the karaoke, what is like the
breaking the law,
oh, all right, not just the songs,
breaking the world, karate,
like the type of game that it is.
Oh, it's a rhythm game.
There we go. The rhythm. I was
it's a
trying
rhythm
to think
game.
of the word.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you like rhythm games. And
I
then,
love
like,
rhythm games.
Like, I wasn't a huge fan of them, but this kind of like made me like it a lot more.
Yes.
And just because of like the cheesy music videos, like the songs themselves are catchy. Some of them are really catchy.
Baka Mitai.
Oh my god. I rock that jam every now and then. I'm just like, I need this song in my life. Yeah.
Yakuza 0, by the way, is the best version of Baka Mitai.
Oh.
Anyone can fight me about that. It is the best version of it.
I want to preemptively say too, I think this is undoubtedly my favorite Yakuza game because it's the first one I ever played, the first one that got me into the franchise.
Yes.
And the one that I could not like stop playing.
For sure.
Like, I'm not saying that the other ones are less than this. I'm just saying like this one is the one that really got me hooked.
Oh yeah.
And like that energy is still going like whenever I play a new one.
Yes.
But for this game, this was definitely the jumping off point.
Oh yeah.
And I seriously, every day after work, I could not stop thinking about that game. I would listen to the music while I was at work. I would think about strategies. I would try not to spoil it for myself, but I would like, you know, look up guides. If I missed anything, I would try to go back. And like, I was so obsessed with this game.
I finished Yakuza in a month because I just loved it so much.
Yeah, me too. And I was like, oh my, I want more. Like, I would play the Kyabakura game over and over again because I was like, I'm just gonna be making money, but I need my fix, you know. And then my honorable mention, Yakuza Kiwami, came out, and although it was a much shorter game, it still got my fix, you know. I didn't love it as much as 0, but I got my Yakuza like fix in my life, that, you know, the continuation of the story. Yeah,
and the fix never ends because now they're coming out with games for days.
7's coming out soon in the West, so
I know.
Yeah. So my other 2 honorable mentions for that year are, as I mentioned, Yakuza Kiwami, as well as Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, the sequel to Wolfenstein: The New Order, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
For sure. My honorable mention, I'd say, is Cuphead. Cuphead is not my type of game at all. I would never just pick up a Cuphead just because I don't really play side scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought this game was really fun, and the art style really drew me to it. Like, if I feel like if it wasn't for the art style and the soundtrack, I wouldn't have played Cuphead.
I see.
Yes.
Nice. It's I haven't played it yet, but I know it's a game that the developers worked on really hard for.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Oh man, we're almost done. By the way.
Yeah.
Jesus.
2018. Oh my God. Okay, this was a really hard year for me because
a lot of games came out this year.
Yes, and I played quite a few games.
Yeah.
But so this is actually the only year where I have to choose 2 games as my game of the year because I loved both of them, and I loved both of them equally, but one of them was harder for me to have an emotional attachment to, and the other one I felt was lacking in some ways, but I still loved it regardless.
Okay.
So, of course, you might know this as Yakuza 6 and Yakuza Kiwami 2.
For sure.
Yeah. So, Yakuza 6, it didn't have as much of an emotional impact on me because I did not play... I was basically missing 3 games.
We didn't play a lot of games in between.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so it was weird because right after that, I played Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is right after Yakuza Kiwami. So I had to like kind of readjust my mindset to be like, okay, this is where I am in the story with Kiryu.
Yeah.
Because like in 6, his story ends and you don't see him anymore. And you're just like, okay, like I spent this whole game with him, whereas some other people spent the past 5 games with him.
Yes.
So they have that built up emotional like tension.
Yes.
Whereas I only spent 2 games, and then
Yeah.
I played, and I basically watched Star Wars 1 and 2, and then I watched Episode 6, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on,
Hey,
you know?
well, a lot of people have done that.
Yeah, no, totally, and like some people watch 1, 2, 3, and then they watch 9, and you're like, okay, you know,
Hey,
like there's so many
you gotta
things
do
happening.
what you gotta do sometimes.
Yeah, they're like, why is that person this way? Why is that person that way? So for me, I was just like, okay, there were a lot of things that tied it back to the previous games that I still don't know about, but I know that there's a lot of those like little Easter eggs, those emotional heartstrings that tie back to the previous games. And I know the developers worked really hard to make it that way. But for me, again, I love this game so much. We both bought the premium editions of this game because we knew that we were going to like it. But for me, I couldn't find the emotional attachment. And again, with Yakuza Kiwami 2, I felt it was a good continuation of Yakuza Kiwami. But like there were a lot of things that I felt like they needed to touch up on, or just like, you know, spread out more, or give a little bit more love. But I thought that it was still a really good game regardless.
For sure.
Yeah.
For me, my second favorite game is Kiwami 2.
Okay.
I really liked Kiwami 2. I liked the addition of Kaori.
Yes.
Like, she's best girl. And it was cool just seeing a dynamic where he fell for someone, and then he finally had a more fleshed out relationship with Haruka.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just nice to see. My number 1 is Red Dead Redemption 2. I think it's a very good game. I loved it. I don't like it as much as Red Dead Redemption 1, but I love the different storyline that comes with this, where Arthur Morgan is in like a band of just with a whole bunch of people, and
I see.
He's dealing with a bunch of things. I love the setting in New Orleans. The New Orleans setting was my favorite setting of the game.
Oh yeah.
And I had a great time, especially in the middle playing it. And yeah, that game was great. So that one is my game of the year.
Nice.
Not to mention, the ending of Red Dead Redemption 2 I was not expecting that at all.
Oh, I still don't know, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really surprising how it goes down, because you're kind of like, I'm surprised that they factored this in, but it makes sense because that came during that time. So
yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that makes sense after you think about it.
Yeah.
So
totally.
That's 2018, and then we're fine. Oh,
let me mention 3 honorable mentions for 2018 real quick before we move on.
Yes.
A Way Out, which is a co-op game that my brother
Oh,
and
yeah.
I played the whole way
yeah.
through. It's the way I like to describe this game is Hot Fuzz, because Hot Fuzz is a game is a movie that starts out kind of slow and you don't really know where it's gonna go, and it ends on a bang, and that's how this game ends, and you're just like, wow, you just have such an emotional attachment to the characters by the end of it. You're just like, what did I just go through, you know?
Yeah.
And I love that game so much. Super Mario Party and Super Mario Odyssey are my other two.
For sure.
One more side note I want to make about Yakuza Kiwami 2, and one of the reasons why I chose it as my my second game of the year is because it ties directly into Yakuza 0. If you remember, there was the Makoto Makimura
Yeah,
thing.
they added extra gameplay for you to play as Majima.
Yep, and
that was not in the original Yakuza 2.
Yep, and I loved that so much. I like that the remakes are kind of tying back to Yakuza 0, and I thought that was really nice because I know that Yakuza 0 kind of changed a lot of things, and so they had to remake the games, not just to bring a newer audience into the franchise, but also to fix the continuity.
Giving Majima a back... So now that I'm in the Yakuza community... That sounds weird, by the way. Like, out of context, that sounds weird.
Like, you got both your pinkies still, right?
Yeah. So, out of context, that is a little weird. But now that I'm in the Yakuza community, it's interesting how much giving Majima a backstory made a huge difference for a lot of people.
Right, because a lot of people just played the first Yakuza game and they're like, this guy's just a crazy clown. But you don't realize that he had to go through a lot of shit to be where he is now.
Yes.
And I love it so much. He's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, he's excellent.
Yeah. All right, 2019, Alyssa.
Wow, we did it. We made it.
We did it.
Wow. All right. I have a very clear-cut winner. My number one favorite game of 2019 was Judgment. And I just have to say that that game gives me a lot of happiness and joy playing it. I feel like this game gave me just the amount of joy that I had when I was playing Yakuza 0 because it was fresh. It's a new franchise. And also, what this game proved to me was that Ryuga Gotoku Studios can make a game that is not directly related to the Yakuza franchise, and it would be successful.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
And I can say a lot about this game, but one of my favorite things about this game is the fact that the main. And shoot, Yagami, there you go.
Yeah, I was
like, shoot, I forgot it already, but nope, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yagami is more, has like a posse of friends now versus Kiryu being a lone dog. So that's one of my favorite things about this game. And it's so good. I'm actually replaying this game as we speak.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
I'm replaying this. After I finish replaying this for a bit, I'm going to play Yakuza 3 in February.
Yep, me too.
So yeah, there's not I just love Judgment. Judgment is my favorite, my second favorite game of the studio for sure.
Okay, nice. Very nice.
So it's Yakuza 0 and then Judgment.
Cool.
And yeah, game of the year.
Oh, I see. That was my game of the year until I played Dead by Daylight. And that's my game of the year for 2019.
For sure.
Although, again, this is one of the games that came out, 3 years ago at that point. But I got interested in it because some of my friends are playing it. And the Stranger Things DLC came out.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, now's a good time to pick it up because it's only like $20 for the DLC and the game. And I was like, all right, picked it up. That is my mainstay now. That is my number one game that I play a lot. I'm not as obsessed as I was with the Yakuza franchise, but it's something that I consistently play and I kind of default to if I have nothing else going on. But yeah, I mean, I've gushed about this game over and over again. I'm not going to gush about it more, but yeah, I don't really like horror games, and I do consider this a horror game, but this is the only horror game that I think is more action oriented than actually jump scare related. So it can be, depending on, the killer and kind of perks they're running and kind of add-ons they have. But Dead by Daylight for sure. Judgment is a close second. Again, for all the reasons that Alyssa stated, and you can listen to our spoiler cast on Judgment as to why we love this game so much. I like to akin it to something in the Marvel franchise, like a show like, Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney Plus is related to the movies, aka the Yakuza franchise, like the main games.
Yeah.
But it's like not directly related. It's It's to the side,
For sure.
Set in the same world, but doesn't feature the same characters, which I love.
Yes.
I love it so much.
Yes.
And my other honorable mention for last year is Jurassic World Evolution. because I played that game a lot, and I
Very
got it for
nice.
Christmas, and I literally beat it before the new year.
Hey.
And that's how much I loved it. I was a huge fan of Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, which is also another like park building simulator, and this one definitely beat that game by a whole long shot because it was more authentic to the movies.
Yeah.
They had like they had Jeff Goldblum who played Ian Malcolm, and he voiced a lot of the game. He was like the main narrator for the whole game, and I love the Jurassic franchise so much, and this game definitely was something that I felt like really fit a long-awaited Jurassic game that a lot of fans have been wanting for.
For sure.
Yeah, we did it.
I know.
We did it.
I'm gonna ask you a question
Yeah.
that we both didn't like really prepare for, but I am curious.
Okay.
Do you have a game of the decade
No.
of these 10 of like this, you know?
Oh.
Which one would you consider your game of the decade? Because I actually think I have an answer.
Okay, you can go first.
My answer would actually be Yakuza 0.
Actually, I was just thinking the same thing. Yes.
Yakuza 0 for me would be my game of the decade, and then under that would be Grand Theft Auto 5, and then Uncharted 4. So those 3 games are like my top, you know,
Okay.
of the whole decade.
For me,
And then actually under 4 would be 4 and 5 would be Stardew Valley and Persona 5.
nice.
Yes.
Okay. So my top 5 games of the decade would be, of course, Yakuza 0 because I already explained it.
Yes.
then it would be Dead by Daylight, Sleeping Dogs,
Yeah.
Mount and Blade with Fire and Sword,
Mhm.
and I'll also put Warband up there because they're basically the same thing, just a little bit different. So
For
those
sure.
are kind of the same one. And the 5th one would probably be Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Got it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, not Wolfenstein. BioShock. I would put BioShock over Wolfenstein because, I felt like BioShock was more something that I think, more interested in than Wolfenstein. Not that I don't like Wolfenstein less. It's just BioShock kind of is more interesting to me as a single player
For sure.
shooter. So
For sure.
yeah.
And then other games I really liked. I love Red Dead, but the reason I prefer Grand Theft Auto over Red Dead is replayability. Like I could just do random things in Grand Theft Auto like,
True.
whenever I want.
You cannot wake up in a new Bugatti in Red Dead.
Oh God. No, you cannot.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
But you can go smoking and riding
You can.
in Red Dead.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But no Bugattis, so that's why it's not on my
Bugattis.
list.
No Bugattis. All right, so yeah, we're in 2020 now. That's
Yeah.
it. The end.
With that said, yes, we are
Closing out.
Yes.
Officially 19. Like we did it.
2020 vision, hindsight 2020.
2020, new decade, new consoles. We'll see what happens.
This is going to be a crazy year for video games, and I'm very excited.
Oh God, yeah. This is gonna be really crazy.
We say that every year, but this year I think is going to be crazier.
Yes, because next gen
Yes.
means infinite possibilities.
Yep. And then, VR is going to have a huge surge once like Half-Life Alyx comes out.
Oh my God, yeah.
People are going to be like, "Oh my god, a new Half-Life game. I need to get a VR headset." That's pretty much how it's going to be because
Yes.
this is basically people's Half-Life 3. Even though it's not number 3 and it's technically a prequel to 2, it's still something that everyone's going to want to play. I'm definitely going to want to play it, but I'm not going to get a VR headset just for that.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I don't know how I'm going to play it, but I'm going to find out a way.
Hopefully VR headsets are cheaper though.
Oh, yeah.
I say that, by the way, every year. I'm just,
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember.
They have gotten cheaper though. They have ever so slightly have gotten cheaper.
The only one that's the exception for that is the Valve Index, which is $1,000. And I'm like, why?
Lord.
Everything else is cheaper. Why are you so expensive?
All right. I am not getting that.
Me either.
All right. Stay tuned to the next podcast. Next podcast is a regular podcast. Contact us at contact@Downtime.Live. If you want to send an email, check out the description for our Discord. You can go on any platform. We have the podcast, Podbean, YouTube, you name it.
Stitcher.
And, yep. If you post a comment or question, we will answer. And on top of that, if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, write us a review.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
And yeah, we're back sort of from the dead.
Yep, we had I wouldn't say it was a long hiatus, but it was like about a month.
Yeah, it was a long hiatus without addressing that we were on a hiatus.
Yeah, I did make an official statement, but
Yeah.
you know, things happen in life.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah. So hopefully, if you're listening to this, this is the start of more podcasts soon.
Yes.
So
And hopefully I'll be on more podcasts this year. Y'all, I got a crazy job. So this is I legitimately have a really crazy job.
yeah,
so.
yeah. But I
Yeah.
want you back because
Yes.
you know that our dynamic is great.
Yes, of course, yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to podcast 125. See
Yep.
y'all in the next one.
See you in 126.